Terry, you talk about data and obviously looking at data. Sometimes I find when we're researching areas that data can vary from one researcher to another, and there's quite significant shifts in data. How do you know when you're researching or you're looking for information, how do you know how accurate that information is, and how do you double check that? Because that's obviously, for us, we're very big on building your team, finding the people to guide you and help you in that process. But if someone's out there doing it alone, how do they know whether that data that they're reading from CoreLogic, wherever it may be, is accurate?
Well, they don't, and I think the safest assumption everyone should make is that it's all dodgy data. It's all rubbery figures to a certain extent.
So lies are more statistics, lies are more statistics.
Exactly. Look, when you just consider what they're trying to do, take Sydney for example, it's a city of more than 700 suburbs, and what these research firms are trying to do is distill all the tens of thousands transactions in these diverse markets, like you've got Manly versus Campbelltown or Bondi versus Penrith. How do you compare those markets? But they try to distill it all down to a single figure saying Sydney prices are doing X, and it's ridiculous. So they all have their own methodologies, they're all flawed to a certain degree, and they're all coming up with different figures. So CoreLogic says Sydney is down 8%, but the ABS says it's only 4%, and SQM Research says it's 3%, and Domain says it's about 5%. Who's right? The Hobart apartment market, one source says it's down 1%, another source says it's up 15%, and another source says it's up more than 20%.
A big variance there.
Massive. One source says the market's falling and the other one says it's going gangbusters. So who do you believe? And the reality is, well, there's no way of knowing who's right and who's wrong. As I say, it's all rubbery figures to a certain degree.
Because property is a long-term thing. When you invest in property, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. And obviously, there are ways where we can accelerate that growth through development, and something that we help some of our clients do, whether it be with townhouses or splitter blocks or different things like that. But also, when you're designing a home, I guess understand the demographics of that area is very important too, which can add to, I guess, increased value, and you're creating that market within the markets. And also understanding there are different markets happening in different areas within a small pocket. How do you dig down deep though? How does that punter out there know? Because you don't want them to be a punter, do you? You don't want to just be an investor. You're an investor, not a punter. How do you extrapolate that data?
Well, all the information anyone could ever need to be informed is out there. You just got to put in the time to bring it all together and look at it and make sense of it. It does take a lot of time, which is a bit daunting for the average punter, or you can employ somebody to do it for you. And that's what we try to do at Hotspotting is...
Hotspotting.com.au?
That's the one, yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you for that. We try to make it easy for people, bringing it all together and trying to make sense of it. So we don't, like some research companies just spit out a report out of the computer with graphs and charts and figures, but it doesn't explain it to people, whereas we actually write coherent reports, so this is what it all means. And having done that step, then people need to actually talk to people in the local industry. It's really useful to visit a place and just wander around and talk to valuers and buyers agents and selling agents and local storekeepers, anyone you can. I encourage like our mentoring clients to do that, and some of them actually do it. They might spend several days and just go around and talk to people, and they start to get a real impression of what's going on, because the median price data is rubbish. It tells you what's happened in the recent past anyway, which isn't that useful. So it's really getting a feel for the dynamic of a place. And what we do that's different from what other people do is we look at sales volumes. I think it's way more important, because these are matters of fact, whereas median price data is dodgy data. They all come up with different figures, whereas the number of sales is something that we can place.
And you certainly need volume in that to be able to give you accurate information.
Yeah.